Okay, so the first concert I ever attended I was 10 years old, and it was the Dave Matthews Band at the Gorge. The Gorge is pretty much Washington State's version of the Grand Canyon. It's just a smaller version with a massive amphitheater out there, thousands and thousands of people on this huge grass hill. It is so cool, and I had the time of my life. My cousin took me out there, him and his friends that were in college. I was really happy to say that my cousin was able to take me out there because it really was an amazing time.
My first concert, I was in 7th grade, the same year that I actually discovered music. I went to see Van Halen. They were a huge band in like the 80s. They have a lot of like pop rock tunes that are really successful here. I would imagine they've been successful in Japan as well. But that was the first show that I went to. It was very loud, I remember that, and there were a lot of older people. I was probably the youngest one in the crowd. But that was very exciting. I loved going to that show. I mean, not too many people my age see Van Halen, I guess, but that was really fun.
Okay, so the first concert that I ever attended, I was 16. I went to the 8701 tour with Usher. And I had never gone to a concert before. And I was a big Usher fan. And I went to that tour, and my mind was blown because of not just the scale of the production, but just the way that he moved, the comfort that he had on stage, the confidence, and it was just like his swag was just, and he was probably at that point he was like maybe 21, 22, I think. And so I was looking at this guy on stage and I was like, that's what I want to do. I want people to be freaking out and be connected to me in this way. Because it's one thing to like love a song, and it's another thing to like have a personal experience when you're there, seeing that person and taking that in and soaking that in and what that does to you. It's a very infectious energy. If you've ever gone to any live festival, concert, you're like really, you're engulfed in the whole moment, so that was the first concert I attended, and it changed how I looked at live performance.
The first concert that I ever went to was the Pointer Sisters. And if you're not familiar with the Pointer Sisters, it's the people that sang, "I'm so excited," or "Jump for My Love." There was a bunch of different ones. So my dad took me to that, and I was really feeling myself at that concert. I was, embracing who I was.
So the first concert I ever went to was the Cheetah Girls, and I attended that in the 4th grade at Disneyland. I went with my whole family. I was in the front row, and I freaked out when one of them touched my hand.
So the first and only concert that I have ever attended that I can remember was the Taylor Swift Fearless tour in the US. And it was amazing. She did all these quick changes. She was singing so like crazy the entire show, and she didn't look worn out at all. She just, maintained her perfect self on the road and doing shows all over the place. I have no idea how she did it, but I remember I was really into country music at the time, so it was mandatory to go to that concert.
I remember the exact first concert that I ever attended. I love going to live shows and live concerts. My mom took me when I was in 4th grade to the NSYNC concert in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and the opening acts was the group Bewitched, and then Britney Spears came out. And they opened for NSYNC. So I got the trifecta as a 4th grader. I remember my dad hated it. He put earplugs in his ears. He thought it was too loud. And I had the best time, and I think that was one of the moments, distinct moments that I can remember early on in childhood where I knew I loved this. I loved the performance, I loved the music, and I could watch that or do that for the rest of my life.